She said it between bites of dinner, like she was announcing the weather. I'm having surgery. To stay childless. Always. The fork didn't fall from my hand. The wine didn't spill. Only something inside me did, quietly, like glass cracking under ice. I remembered nodding. Your decision, I said. That was the script she wanted to hear. Empathy, modern understanding, freedom. And I gave it to her, word for word. But something in her eyes, a flicker, a hesitation. Not relief, not liberation, guilt. That was the first lie she didn't say out loud. She excused herself. Her phone buzzed in the hallway. A whisper, a laugh, a tone too soft for strangers. When she came back, her smile was too polished, like something she'd practiced. That night, I lay beside her, listening to her breathing. It wasn't calm, it was measured, like someone rehearsing how to live with a decision they didn't make for themselves. Days passed, then weeks. Her surgery never appeared on any medical statement. No appointment reminders, no follow-ups, nothing. When I asked casually, she brushed it off. Private clinic, confidential. But her friend, Emma, the one always around, always laughing too loudly, always too close, she slipped once. Oh, I thought you guys were trying again. Trying. That word struck deeper than it should have, because we had tried once, years ago. The miscarriage broke her, or so she claimed. Since then, every mention of children was a wound she reopened on cue, a weaponized fragility. Now she was laughing again, smiling again, wearing perfume again, and avoiding me at night. A void had settled between us. Not anger, not grief, something colder, like the silence of a decision already made. I began to suspect the truth wasn't about surgery at all. It was about permanence, but not the kind she had described. I started small. Her calendar, empty. Her emails, deleted. Her messages, protected with a password she'd never needed before. I didn't confront. I watched. Patterns reveal everything if you wait long enough. She started coming home later, claimed support group, volunteer work, therapy. Emma always texted around the same hours, always after my wife left, always before she returned. Coincidence is just a word people use when they can't face precision. I followed once, not with headlights, with patience. A parked car across from a medical office. Her figure entering, staying for less than 20 minutes. No surgical aftercare, no paperwork, no nurse. When she came out, she was on the phone, smiling. The next day, a small gift box appeared on the counter. Inside, a gold bracelet engraved with a date. Not our anniversary, not her birthday. A date 3 months in the future. I searched that date everywhere. Flights, appointments, hotels, nothing. Until I checked Emma's social media. Her caption beneath a brunch photo read, "Countdown begins, heart, April 12, Easter Sunday." The truth arrived quietly, in a way truth often does, through a clinic record misfiled under our shared insurance. Her surgery was never for sterilization. It was a termination. 6 weeks pregnant. 2 weeks before she told me she'd chosen to stay childless. The father listed as partner unknown. But I wasn't unknown. She hadn't even considered that possibility. I printed the record, folded it, placed it in an envelope. That night over dinner, I slid it toward her plate. "You dropped this," I said. She froze, opened it, read the header. Color drained from her face like paint washed by rain. Her fork slipped, clattering against porcelain. No need." I stood, calmly. "Your body, your choice. My life, my choice." I left before she could cry, before guilt could become theater. The next day, I filed for divorce. No accusations, no scenes, just signatures. 2 months later, the invitations went out. Mine read, simple and final, Cameron and Emma, Easter celebration. We didn't call it a wedding. We called it what it was, a rebirth. Her reaction came through mutual friends. She called it betrayal, hypocrisy, said I'd stolen her only friend. But Emma had known everything, every lie, every omission, every calculated tear. She had seen through her long before I did. On Easter morning, sunlight cut through stained glass in the small church hall. Emma's hand was warm in mine, her laughter honest. And then, in the crowd outside, a face, pale as dust. My ex-wife stood there, clutching her bag. No words, no smile. Just silence. Until she noticed the announcement board. Emma Blake, expecting this fall. Her eyes widened. Her lips parted. Her fingers trembled. Pregnancy. Easter. Life where she'd sworn it would never be again. Poetic symmetry writes itself sometimes. Later that evening, I stood by the window, watching the last light fade. Emma laughed softly behind me, reading messages of congratulations. And I thought, not of victory, not of revenge, but of silence. The kind that comes when a storm has passed and left only clarity behind. She had wanted to erase possibility, to sterilize life itself. But life has a way of returning in places you least expect. I don't hate her. I don't pity her. I simply remember the sound of her voice saying, "I'm having surgery to stay childless." And how wrong she was. Because in the end, it wasn't her body that became barren. It was her heart. Final line, and some things, once emptied, never fill again.